So when a team is in need of a boost, it seems Spurs are the ones handing out the medicine. Remember, Palace won their first game of the season against Tottenham. Ipswich hadn't won a game. Then they beat Tottenham, and at the weekend, of course, Leicester, after 7 straight defeats, go to Tottenham and also win. So our next guest was very excited about the arrival of Ange Postecoglou, but where is he at with it all now? It's a very good morning to the former Spurs midfielder and sports bar host, Jamie O'Hara. Morning, Jamie.
Morning, Jamie, lad.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. Oh, dear. What a time to be a Spurs fan, eh?
Hey, I'll tell you what, Jamie. I can see Coisty's got this mischievous grin on his face.
Yeah, I can imagine, mate. I can imagine.
He's going to have a proper dig here.
Now, Jamie, I might as well start, mate. Right? I saw you kind of going into meltdown on my television yesterday, right? For want of a better description, you kind of went into meltdown yesterday. Now, I mean, it's unbelievable. I get it, what's happening with Tottenham, right? And it's unacceptable. And for you guys, it must be as painful as it is anything else. However, I would put this to you, Jamie, right? And I said to Jeff earlier on, you've had some brilliant managers. I mean, there's no doubt you've some brilliant managers. You look what Conte's doing just now in Napoli. Nuno, Pochettino, I thought was a good manager. Mourinho, clearly different class. I mean, if you get rid of... my point is, what's the point in getting rid of Big Ange right now? Who are you going to bring in that's going to make any difference?
Well, the problem you've got, Ali, is I hear you, and that's the problem that Daniel Levy's got to deal with, because at the end of the day, you can't keep sticking with a manager when you've got relegation form just because who's going to come in? Well, that's your job as the chairman, to find a manager to come in. There's plenty of great young managers out there. There's plenty of coaches all across Europe that would love to have the opportunity to manage Spurs. And I feel like we're just sticking with Ange Postecoglou because we're scared of making a change. Like, he's not the be-all and end-all. It's not like we've had Pep Guardiola as the gaffer, and it's like, oh my God, it's all gone downhill. We can't let him go. We're just going to have to ride the storm. Like, he hasn't done anything at Tottenham. Like, it's not like he's won trophies and he's got this credit in the bank where we've got to stick with him. He's achieved nothing. Apart from, at the start, we played some good football. We ain't playing good football anymore. Let me tell you, I'm watching the games. It's no different to what I've seen before. Like, honestly, might as well play Jeff centre-half, and he could do a better job yesterday than some of the football that we were playing. It was awful. Leicester deserved the win. And to say that Leicester deserve a win after they lose 7 on the bounce is outrageous. So this whole chestnut of, who's going to come in? Well, you're Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. You're one of the richest clubs in the world. There's plenty of managers out there that want the job.
I mean, I think wing back rather than centre half for me, Jamie. But thanks for the thought anyway, mate.
Up and down, Jeff. Up and down.
There's no way you're getting up and down, Jeff. I can tell you.
I can't get up and down from this chair, let alone up and down a football pitch. And fans must look at what happens with other clubs. I mean, Everton brought in David Moyes, immediate bounce, won a couple.
Yeah.
West Ham have brought in Graham Potter, immediate improvement in playing style.
So did Wolves, though, guys.
Yeah, but I know, but you can Bournemouth. We all thought they were on get rid of Gary O'Neill, but they brought in Andoni Areola. Look at what job he's done. Forrest brought in Nuno, and he's done a brilliant job.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know he's got history there. So
everyone around us, Jeff, in the league table, we're 15th. Everyone around us sacked their manager. Spurs are the only one who've kept their manager, and that, to me, just rings alarm bells. And if you think that Spurs are not in a relegation fight because they're Tottenham, you're in cuckoo land. Spurs are in a relegation fight. They need to pick up points. If we're not careful, the London derby next season could be Millwall. Like genuinely, if you watch the form and you watch the way we're playing, it is nowhere near good enough. They are terrible to watch. And we have lived in the past of when Ange Postecoglou first come in, the club was in disarray. For whatever reason, Conte had been digging the club out. We had the Mourinho, and we had this style of football that the Spurs didn't like. They brought in Ange, and all of a sudden everyone was like, we're playing this great football. We're unbeaten in 10. Ange Postecoglou's the Messiah. Since then, right, the Chelsea game where we picked up injuries, since then, it ain't been that great, guys. Like, seriously, like, there's been some performances here and there where you go, yeah, that's good. But it's not the football's not. There's no consistency. The football that we're playing ain't that great to watch. And if you put out a team that just says kamikaze football, go and play, lads, and do what you want, well, 1 in 10 or 1 in 8, you're going to put in a big performance and go, yeah, see, that style works. Well, what about the other 7 games where we're getting absolutely slaughtered at the back and wide open all over the place? There's no discipline to defend. It's crazy football to play 24/7. And every team that turns up now to play Spurs are just looking at it going, just bide your time, lads, because Spurs they'll be open and we'll nick and we'll get our chances and they'll fall apart. And that's exactly what happened yesterday.
I said to Jeff earlier on, Jamie, what is this story with the injuries? I mean, a lot of them are saying it's because of the way they train, it's because of the way they play. Then the other thing I would say is, and I understand it can be a closed shop, but what is the story, particularly in the centre-backs? When are they due back?
Well, I think Van der Ven and Romero are not far off from being back, but I don't know. Look, I think the problem you've got, it's hard. It's an hard one because everyone's got injuries. Bournemouth have got injuries, by the way, and still playing fantastic football. Yeah. And still right up there. So you can't blame everything on injuries. I had a look at some of the team sheets from the games that we've lost this season. I heard Jeff mention it. Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Brighton, when we were 2-0 up at half time, lose 3-2. Them 3 games, we had our best team out. So you can't blame everything on the injuries. I get it, there's a bit of a problem. What I would say is the medical staff up to scratch? Is it good enough? Maybe not. I remember being at Tottenham and I wouldn't say it was the best medical staff I've ever seen. And they've tried to sort that out. They had a guy come in, Wayne Diesel, who I loved, and he was really good. He left, I think, and went to the Miami Dolphins. So I don't know who's there now in charge of it all, but that seems to be a massive problem at Spurs. But also Ange Postecoglou. I've read some interviews, some articles that he's done, from when he was at Celtic, saying that the way he plays and the style of football that he plays will cause problems with injuries because it's so high tempo. It's so, the intensity and the way he trains and he wants to do things. Well, if you're going to have a manager that wants to have that style and wants to play that way and this high line and wing backs are constantly bombing on and wide open spaces where when you give the ball back, your sprint distances are, so much higher than everyone else's. Well, then you've got to have 3 or 4 players in every position to play that because you're going to pick up so many injuries. And you ain't got a chairman in Daniel Levy who wants to put his hand in his pocket. So you've got no chance.
Jamie, just want to finish with somebody, a texter who said, remind Jamie, he called Ange world class, and here comes Spurs. Didn't age too well, mate.
Jeff, that was a couple of years ago, mate. Do you know what I mean? McCoist was world class 2 years ago. What's happened since then?
Jamie, thanks, pal.
See you later, lads.
Pal.
Cheers,
all
mate.
right, take it easy.
Don't forget to tune in at the Sports Bar tonight from 10. Should be good with Cundy reviewing Chelsea falling apart.
Brilliant.
More Spurs chat with Jamie. As we're hearing at the moment that Ange Postecoglou, at least for the moment, will stay as the Spurs manager.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.